Hey everybody, it is Deb from Deb's Corner Canada. Today we're going to start a new series, and the new series here is going to be on answers. Answers that I've found to be the most popular, the most requested on Quora, which is a main writing platform that I'm on. I'm also on Threads now, which I like as well. So if you want to join me on there, that'd be great. So the first question we're going to answer, one of the most popular questions, is what are some experiences or some specific answers, specific examples of a covert narcissist tactics, okay? And they wanted specifics, and I thought this was such a great question. So let's kind of dive in. So starting with triangulation, okay? Coverts love triangulation. It is one of their main tools in their little tool belt, okay? This is where the narcissist will kind of subtly at first begin to kind of casually mention exes, neighbors, people in their, like in their surrounding orbit, okay? They're gonna just very subtly mention them, not with detail, but they will just kind of bring them up out of the blue seemingly, okay? And really it's going to be it could be acquaintances, neighbors, kind of anybody really. Coworkers though, a favorite for them, okay? And so really they're going to do it just enough to gauge your reaction, to see kind of where your little spot in the armor is that they can get through, okay? Where they can kind of figure out what annoys you, what makes you react, what can give them a feed, what can give them some energy, okay? That's what it's about, unfortunately. So, you know, this is kind of a main staple in that toxic tool belt that they use, okay? And it's often used before, during, and even after the discard, okay? Even after it's all said and done, they're still going to keep doing this, okay? And at first they might just kind of casually mention, say, like a new coworker who's joined, or a new neighbor that's moved in, or a new or maybe an extended family member that you've probably never met, that maybe moved into town or whatever, okay? They're going to just kind of slowly start to bring these things just up to you out of the blue, which is a little odd, but okay. And they're purposely going to act a bit off when they do this. I know. They're going to act a little bit strange, like enough that it's going to feel like, you're going to feel like probably a tinge of annoyance. Like, okay, so who cares? Okay, well, this is nice. Thanks for telling me. That kind of a thing, okay? And what they're looking for here is your micro reactions. They're looking for, okay, are they annoyed? Do they not care? Are they kind of overreacting to this? They're kind of looking for those little tiny reactions. Are you looking uncomfortable? Do you look like you're worried about it? Those are the things that they're looking here. They're looking for those little tiny reactions from you from here. Okay, so next they're going to mention, say, we're going to use the coworker as an example, because coverts love to manipulate coworkers, yours and theirs. They love it, okay? So what they're going to do next is they're going to mention a coworker. But this next time they're going to be a little more detailed. So the first time out of the gate, they might say something like, oh, Bob started at our company last week. Oh, what a great job they're doing. They're working in administration. Or you know, Mary started in shipping, you know, yesterday. Oh, well, what a great job they're doing. But then what they're going to do next is, first they're going to gauge that reaction, but then the next time they bring it up, maybe another week or two, what they're going to do is give a little more detail. Okay, so the next time it'll be, oh, well, you know, Mary Jane, oh wow, she did all of my paperwork for me, the new girl in admin. And you're like, oh, well, that's nice. Or Bob changed all my timesheets, so I got all that extra bonus time, or whatever it is, okay? But whatever it is, it's going to be a positive thing someone else is doing for the covert, okay? Because they're so great. They're doing something for them, okay? And you're going to be like, okay, well, that's nice, great, okay? But again, here, what they're going to do is they're going to be kind of very purposefully vague, like so purposefully vague that it's going to be suspicious, okay? It's going to be very weird. It's going to make your hackles rise up. You know, okay, well, that's kind of odd. It's going to kind of come across as odd, probably, and annoying, to be honest, okay? So then they'll wait so maybe like a third time, okay? So say the third time out. So they're going to pretend this time out, now they don't know the person's name, okay? So they've mentioned they know the person's name. You know they've mentioned this person's name, and you didn't really care, okay? So now what they're going to do is turn it up a little bit, see what they can do. So they're going to pretend to obviously not remember their name, okay? So remember that, you know, coworker Bob, okay? They're gonna that works on the admin desk. So now it's gonna be, oh yeah, what's his name again? I don't know, you know, the guy, anyway. So he worked on the desk, and you're gonna be so annoyed that you might say something like, you know what? After a couple weeks, when you know it's Bob, even I remember their name. That's their name, right? Like you mentioned it before. I don't understand what the problem is, okay? So right there, that's done on purpose. That was done to see if you'll react, if you're getting annoyed, okay? And really, you're probably not even annoyed because of jealousy or anything. You're probably just like annoyed because they're screwing with you. They're playing games. You're not interested, okay? This is kind of probably where it's going to start. But if you do react to this weirdness, they're going to, of course, with the ego going, right? They're going to think it's jealousy and, oh, they're so wonderful and you're upset, okay? So they're going to run with this. They're going to run. So what's going to happen here is they are going to they're going to start purposely and obviously re-mentioning this person. They're going to do it over and over again on purpose. As soon as they know that was a problem, that caused any kind of reaction, okay? And they always assume it's because, they're so great. I know. Okay, so, and then what they're going to do is, this will keep you wondering why, but it's still going to keep you wondering, why on earth is this person becoming such a weird topic, such a strange, brutal topic, such an odd topic, or a hidden topic, or why are they trying to hide this person? And they're doing this on purpose, right out of the gate. Okay, they're doing it on purpose. So if you kind of simply move on from this manipulation, whatever, okay, it must have just been some odd thing that they were doing. Get used to that, okay? It keeps going. Now, if you simply move on from that manipulation, they're just going to turn the volume up because they knew they got a reaction before. They knew that you freaked out before. Okay, I can get them to do it again. Okay, this is what they're actually thinking. I know. So that's where you may say, where you're going to say that thing, like I said before, what is the big deal? But now you're going to be more angry about it. You're going to be like, look, we've already had this discussion. Why are you acting so strange? Blah, blah, blah. And they're looking for that. They're looking for you to kind of have that big reaction, to kind of, be all not confident in yourself or kind of worried about what's going on or whatever. This is actually sickeningly what they're looking for. I know. All right, but then they will go right back to somehow bringing them up again. So you're going to go through all this stuff. So they'll wait a week or two and maybe less, okay, if they want to get a reaction, and then they will bring them up again, but they're going to bring them up with an increasing dose. They will microdose this up, okay, and then they might maybe next time add in a sly look, or ooh, what are you so upset about? That kind of a thing, okay? They're going to really kind of go all out to get a reaction from you. Positive, negative, they really don't give a crap, okay? They just want a reaction. They just want a feed of your energy. That's what they're looking for here, okay? So if you show even the most basic curiosity about it, okay, they will amp it up from there. They'll even amp it up. They'll just keep going, okay? So another triangulation trick that coverts especially like to indoctrine in their games is hitting or going for married or attached targets. Love it. That is their favorite, okay? And what they'll do too, just going back to say the coworker example or neighbor example, what they'll say is something like, oh, well, yeah, Bob came, he started the administration job last week, and then he'd go through all that stuff, and then they're going to say something like, oh yeah, and they got a great little 1-bedroom right around work. Oh, that must be nice. So what you're assuming is, hey, Bob's got a 1-bedroom, so Bob is single or married or whoever, okay? So right there, they're planting into you, hey, this person's single, and they're hiding this person. You see that chain of events, how that chain of events happened and how you got pulled in, and you're probably not even a jealous person, you don't really care, okay? So really what's happening here, their favorite target of all are actually married or attached people, and they're doing this because it's easier for them to control them, to blackmail married or attached people, okay? That maybe they might find out their secrets or whatever. They want to have something that they can kind of hold over their head as well, on top of all of it, okay? And it's another prime use of triangulation for them to use X's, okay? They will use an X to distraction. They will use them, okay? And meanwhile, this X is probably a perfectly kind, good, nice person that's probably just been screwed over for a long time, okay? So try not to be too hard on people's X's until you speak with them yourself, okay? So that's where they will delete, say, their half of a conversation, okay? So you've been with them, say, 6 months, okay? And you're seeing these weird messages come through and everything else, and next thing you know, they're going to look really concerned, and they're going to come up to you, and they're going to show you a conversation, okay? And this conversation, what's happened is they've probably reached out to this, either a sneaky side link that doesn't know anything about it or doesn't care, they're just like them, or an ex that they're still leading on, they're still kind of telling them they care about them and blah, 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 okay? They're probably doing a malign Hoover so they can triangulate them and hurt them, actually, is what they're probably doing, okay? But what they're doing to you is trying to give you a false sense of that, oh, they're telling you everything. They're just such an honest person. That's what they're doing. No. What they've done is they've deleted they'll go to their little bubble of the things that they've either thrown out or responded to, and they will delete their their side, and they will just show like maybe a couple that they've written back that are just kind of benign, or just like nothing really to them, nothing that can get them in trouble, of course, right? Because it's all about them and getting away with stuff, right? So they're going to do that. And when they do that, they're going to show you that this ex or this family member or this neighbor, whoever, they're obsessed, they're crazy, they're nuts, they're like, they don't know why they're reaching out, but they wanted to be honest with you, and they're not even reaching out. They don't, this person's crazy, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They are actually going to be crazy enough to do this. They will, trust me. Okay. And a way to check that, by the way, is to go on a bill, go on to their cellular bill, and you should be able to, in a relationship, just be honest about it. And you can actually look to see how many texts go in and how many texts go out from a number. So you'll see how many they've deleted, by the way. That's a tip. So they're going to make sure that you only see this ex's side, okay? And you're going to notice it's going to be weird, because they're going to be kind of just answering questions, and that's how that'll kind of perk you up to something is wrong, because these are going to be mostly responses. They're going to be answering things so that that narcissist is sending and they're responding. So if somebody's deleting their half, that's all you're going to see is kind of their responses, okay? So that's kind of a way to maybe determine that and maybe look into it a little further, okay? So the story, you might feel a little suspicious of so this exes thing is also going to kind of make you feel like, what the heck, what's going on, right? And it's going to make, and what they want you to feel here is they're so in demand. They're so in demand. They're so in demand. They can't live without them. They're going crazy without them. Meanwhile, that ex is probably like, what is going on here? Like, they probably don't even realize they're broken up. They probably are still being told they're together and they're just on a break, like all kinds of ridiculousness going in the background. So always check, okay? So the story is going to morph, of course, going back to, say, the coworker here, okay? Just setting that up, okay? The story is then going to morph into more personal stories, okay, about this neighbor or coworker, whoever, into their children's life, that what daycare they go to, or their marital problems, or their whatever they are. They're going to become more personal, and they're going to do them on purpose, okay? And the kicker here, and I'm going to tell you something that might blow your mind, is they will make people up. I know. They'll actually make up a coworker, okay? And they'll make up a coworker for a few reasons. One is so that they can talk to a sneaky side link or an ex and put this mystical coworker up there that you're probably never going to meet or know, okay? And another way you might notice this is you'll go to their work and refer to that made up coworker, say Sam, okay? Oh wow, where's Sam? And you'll find people will look at you funny. And that's another reason you're going to know, okay, that they've never existed. They will actually make other human beings up to hurt you, to play games with you. It is insidious. It's insidious stuff, okay? But there's ways to kind of check those things out, okay? So, and it's designed really to kind of like keep people acting off with you, okay? People, because you're going to start like wondering what the heck's going on. You're going to have this weird feeling, okay? And it's really also like, that's also going to indicate here that they're starting that smear campaign, okay? They're starting to hint to other people stuff about you that's not true. That's got no base in fact, okay? Always check. Ask the horse themselves, okay? So this is where you might drop them off or visit at lunch, and you'll get kind of like curious or odd glances, okay? This is when that'll start. First, you're going to be sunshine and roses, you're the best, okay? But then it's going to turn into like you going, and those people that used to like wave at you and say hi and come up and to the car with both of you in it and say howdy, they're going to start like giving you odd looks and scuttling away and things like that. That's when you're going to notice. And that really means right then that smear campaign is on. They're starting it, okay? They're starting this process. So you can be sure in the background that they're saying that their wife, their husband, their cousin, their family, whoever you are to them, you're crazy, you're jealous, you're a little off, there's something wrong with you, or you go off on people for no reason, or whatever it will do to keep them away, keep you kind of away from each other. Okay, that's what they're looking to do here. And that's kind of the point. So next up, right? So that's where they're kind of inserting that wedge, right? So next up, so the ghosting. Coverts, all narcs are good at this, but coverts are pros. I'm going to say they're pros, okay? So you'll be inseparable for that like first, up to say 6 months, okay? I'm saying maximum 6 months, to be honest with you, okay? And things are going to be like, boom, you'll be together all the time, right? But then after that, like as soon as you are trauma bonded in, and remember, it's the touch, it's always being together all the time, okay? That's how it kind of happens, all right? And then everybody else, is slowly pushed kind of out of this, okay? And you're going to notice things like this, okay? So cell phone habits. I think all narcissists should not be allowed to have cell phones. period, whatsoever. That is my opinion. I think once one is deked out, they should be forbidden. That is my opinion, because there's nothing but abuse that goes on, okay? But anyways, the first thing out of the gate you're going to see are cell phone, what I call cell phone shenanigans, or cell phone habits, okay? And so this is where they're going to be like turning the ringers off, like, you know, like a freaking 16-year-old, okay? They're going to turn off the ringer. They're going to keep the cell phone in the pockets, kind of face down. You're going to see like really odd numbers showing up. You're going to see like weird 800 numbers, or they're going to tell you everything is, oh, it's just a survey, or there's going to come up with some wild stuff. They've been hacked, and you'll hear all kinds of garbage coming out of their face, okay? Even with proof. It's not going to matter, okay? And so what's going to happen here is what they're going to do is going to put and they're going to go into the bathroom with the cell phone a lot. That's a big narcissist, like, covert sign, is bathroom, phone, all the time. Early morning, stuff like that, that's another sign. But odd numbers showing, they have no idea ever who it is. Oh, they don't have a clue, but just all of these numbers keep coming, okay? Because there's such a large group of people there. They're about the body count. They're about, quantity, not quality, is what I like to say about a covert, okay? And this is going to progress really into like straight up deceptions, okay? And one of these deceptions will be having a sneaky side links number, or having like somebody from an app or one of those places, or having like someone they're having an affair with, which happens a lot with coverts. I'd say every 3 or 4 months they're on to someone else, okay? You just don't know. And they'll have all these kind of sneaky people, or exes they're stringing along, or people that they're telling stories to you about, or whatever, that they're trying to get things off of. They will have these people in these phones talking to them in front of you. How are they doing that? Well, they'll put mom's name, dad's name, their coworker's name, that made up coworker that you don't know about, that we just talked about. They're going to do crap like that. It is that crazy, okay? And they're going to have like their sister's name, their brother's name, and so they can sit right beside you. They can sit right beside you on a bed, or they can throw their phone down. And what they'll tell the other people is, when they're home with you, well, you're so this and you're so that, or you won't even exist sometimes. These people won't know you even exist. So they'll just say things like, oh, they're at work at that time and they can't really talk, or whatever. So these people aren't really going to go into like, personal stuff, like personal details. So you're not going to notice. You're just going to think, oh, it's a normal, hey, how's your day, with a sister or brother or mother or father or cousin, whoever. That's what you're going to think is happening. Yeah. Always check the numbers. Always. Especially if you see under the contact, if you see 2 numbers, who's going to have a work number these days? Who's going to have a work number and a cell phone number for a contact? I'm going to say almost nobody is going to have that. So that would be another indicator, okay? So they're going to be like and so really at this time, it's going to be kind of hiding those numbers within the cell phones under different names, okay? But names that you're familiar with, so you're really not going to suspect anything. I know. So they're going to be texting like literally beside you, okay? And it's pretty crafty if you think about it, right? Like if you don't expect those kind of deceptions, you're really not gonna be suspicious of that, especially if you're not somebody that's like jealous or like possessive or anything. You're not really going to notice anything like that, which is basically the targets they pick too, right? Mostly. Okay, so triangulation games, right? They are really designed in essence to start that self-esteem erosion process in you, okay? But it's only after that initial kind of gathering stage, right? That stage where they're doing the love bomb, right? They're feigning actual interest in you, because they know that there is an expiration date the second that you get together with a covert. They know this is not going to last. They've been on this rodeo before. They know that eventually their behavior will get so bad that it's going to end. They know that everybody's got a breaking point. They know this, okay? So they prep way ahead of time, okay? Which is why they keep trying to collect supply on the way, so that they're not alone when it all goes down, okay? They need somebody to replace you, okay? You're an object. You're a phone. You're a toaster. That's what you are. And you're not, okay? You're a wonderful, bright human soul, okay? Keep that in mind. Okay, so here's where they will start to kind of live test that, right? So they're going to start off with really, really small tests with you. Even, and like we were saying with the coworker that they were kind of saying was single, right? Or they were kind of hinting around with single with little hints, okay? Like they've just got a bachelor apartment or a 1-bedroom or crap like that, okay? So they'll start off with that. But then if you start to kind of go, okay, look, this is getting kind of weird. This is getting strange. Like, do you like this person? Do you want to be with this person? Or like, what's going on with this person, right? So, and you might be getting a little annoyed because they'll keep doing it to get a reaction. And so once they get that reactive abuse from you, they kind of love it and they'll go with it. Oh, it's a nice tasty snack. So here's where they're going to say things like this. And this will annoy you, okay? They're going to go, they're married. Oh my gosh, they're married, for God's sakes. Like, how could you even think I would do something like that? This person is married. It's crazy. Like, oh my, it's like, it's out of the realm of possibility, right? And eventually you'll be so like, oh my gosh, right? Because you're thinking, if you're a moral and upstanding person, yeah, you know what? You're right. Anybody in their right mind, not going to mess with a married person. I'm just not going to do it. So that's crazy of me to even think that. And that's when you're going to keep doubting yourself for something perfectly natural and normal, but they're manipulating it. They're just manipulating it all around. So eventually you're going to be discouraged from going to the workplace to kind of really dig this in to your psyche, okay? So that you're really wondering what the heck's going on, okay? So you used to maybe go to Christmas parties, or you used to drop them off lunch. That's gonna slowly peel off to the point where you're gonna feel like you are not welcome there. Okay, you're not welcome at their Christmas parties. They're going to start saying, oh, no, spouses aren't allowed, or family's not allowed anymore, or we're just going to go to a restaurant this year because the company can't afford it. This is when you're going to start noticing that you're going to be segregated from them completely. You're not going to drop them off anymore. You're not going to drop things off to them anymore. You're not going to meet them for lunch anymore. They're going to stop video chatting you on lunch, all this crap, okay? And that's when you're going to start noticing this wicked divide, and it's done completely on purpose, okay? And that's really so, if you kind of remain in your character, okay? So you're going to be discouraged from going to the workplace and stuff. But if you're still confident in yourself, remain in your character, stay in your own lane, which you should always do, that is when you're going to, say you might just, they forgot something. What they're going to do is say, oh, I forgot my glasses, I forgot my bank card, I forgot my whatever, to make you go to their work or their house, whatever works, okay, to make you go there after all of this crap is going on and they've been talking about you, and they're doing that on purpose too, okay? And you're going to get there to do them a freaking favor, and you are going to get outright glares. Or they'll wait a few years and invite you to a Christmas party after bad mouthing the crap out of you for things you have never ever even thought of doing, okay? And people will glare, just venom will come from these people, and you will be freaked out because you're like, holy jeez, I don't even know these people. Well, but it must be me, right? No, it's not you, okay? It's because they're little yappers yapping, yap, okay? So these are really designed to start separating you from their workplace. This whole shenanigan, they don't want you near the other life. Okay, and that's where the other half of those secret lives take place. Okay, that's where they're double, triple, all these groups that they keep switching through, rifling through. This is where those are conducted. So you don't want people near where you're trying to hide crap, right? So that's what's happening here. So you're also going to start to notice a very, very sudden, unexplained distaste from the closest monkeys, coworkers, neighbors, whoever. Okay, yours too. Okay, because they'll keep going at it when you're not around. So you're going to start to notice a true distaste. Like they'll just give you side looks or snub their nose at you, or you'll see them kind of talking to other people about you or whatever it may be. Okay, so that's kind of the hidden smear campaign in action. That's when you know that this is going on. This is happening. Okay, so at first you're going to be introduced with the fanfare and everything to their closest monkeys. Their neighbors, their coworkers, their, everybody. You're going to be introduced like sunshine comes out of your nose, and you've just dropped down from heaven. Okay, that's kind of how you're going to be introduced. Okay, but it's really to get their foot in the door and make them look good. That's what it's about. Okay, and in the background they're going to be starting to pull aside your family, their family, your neighbors, their neighbors. That's what they're doing with those fake concerns. Like, oh, it's too bad that they can't blah, blah, blah. It's too bad they didn't blah, blah. Just little things like that, okay, just to kind of plant seeds with them. Things that really people aren't going to come up and ask you either. They're just going to kind of be like, oh, well, that's a shame. And they're going to just what they're doing here, they want them to scrutinize you, okay? So when the victim does show up, because eventually the victim is really going to want to kind of oh, okay, well, maybe I'm just not out there enough. Maybe I'm being too standoffish. Maybe I should just dive in and just really try to be extra friendly, okay? Another thing they want you to do, because once you start seeing through those foggy layers, you're going to start asking questions. You're going to start asking monkeys, coworkers, neighbors, whoever. You're going to start just kind of being like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but blah, blah. You're going to start, but they're going to be standoffish towards you because they're being told all these things, okay? They're going to be not really answering your questions and going back and telling the narcissist, by the way, so just don't talk to their family or monkeys. They're not your friends, okay? And not really because they're bad a lot of times, just most times because they've heard such horrible things that they're like, holy monkey, they're wondering, right? Like anybody would be. So as you begin to kind of question, which is, you can't avoid it anymore. Like this crap's coming up, people coming up on the phone, odd locations, strangers coming to your house out of the blue, like just weird stuff going on, okay? You're going to start questioning out more, right? And so what's going to happen at this point in time when you start questioning, when you start being like, no, 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 we're getting down to it. That's what is happening at that very point, is when they're going to cast the die, okay? That's when, boom, that's when they're going to throw that gauntlet down, okay? And because what's really happening with you probably at that point is you're getting this weird feeling, okay, from their neighbors, friends, family. You're just getting this like, what is going on? Like this tension, this paranoia, these glares, these odd looks, like you're just, what is happening? And so what's happening, that it's like that feeling that something is going on around you, right? Something is happening, but I don't know what it is. Like, when you walk in a room and you realize, I think they were talking about me. That's the feeling, okay? When you start getting that feeling, that's because the narcissist is telling the monkeys, like especially when they start outright glaring, outright, just boom, they don't care. That's when the narcissist is actually telling these people, like your neighbors, their coworkers, your coworkers, your family, they're like, they don't care, right? They're equal opportunity manipulators, okay? So they're just telling everybody and their mama now that you are doing what they're doing. Yeah, think about that for a second. Okay, so you are doing what they're doing, and what they are doing would make you cry. It would make you get down on your knees and wonder, and maybe even lose your faith. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're doing everything you can possibly imagine. Everything. That's all I can say. And of course, those people are going to be stunned. They're going to be appalled. They're going to be disgusted with you. Okay? Without asking you anything, which is kind of crazy. But when I hear things about people, I'm kind of a go to the horse's mouth person. So I think other people should have enough character to do that. But that's my opinion. Okay? So of course, those people that are going to be stunned, they're going to be appalled. They're going to be like, what the heck? Oh, this person is disgusting. What is wrong with them? Because the narcissist is telling them exactly what they are doing. Okay, so if the narcissist is cheating, that person's cheating. The narcissist is being abusive, that person's abusive. If the narcissist is being a pig at home and not cleaning up, that's them. If the narcissist is hiding money and lying, that's what they're doing. If the narcissist isn't participating with finances at home, which eventually happens, that's them. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically whatever they are doing, they're telling everybody else you are doing. Okay, so that's why you're getting these outright glares and dirty looks. It is not you. Okay, have faith that it's not you. Okay, so the victim is going to begin to notice, like, just at the end, like outright avoidance around the narcissist. All these people will avoid them. Okay, they will stop bringing you to functions. They will stop, bringing you over to the neighbors to sit and have a coffee. They will stop doing pretty much anything they used to do with you around others. They will just stop. Their preference is to leave you at home. That is their preference in the end. Okay, and if you do go out and try to be friendly and try to participate, you are going to be able to cut the air with a knife, okay? And these are people you barely know, or you might have seen a few times, and you've probably actually honestly helped them out, done them a favor, maybe given them a work reference, maybe, I don't know, given them a drive, maybe, I don't know, lent them money, whatever, right? Like, you've probably even done things for these people because you felt such a need to show them who you really are. Okay, that's probably what you've done, and that's okay. It's okay. So the next specialty they have here is isolation, and coverts are pros. I think they're, of all the narcissist breeds, are the best ones, okay, at isolation, because it serves all of their purposes, all of them, okay? And so especially hiding supply that is in devalue, you will be hidden, okay? And they'll beat you down enough that you don't even have the energy to go out anyway, to be honest, okay? But keeping in mind here, coverts are always enmeshed elsewhere, okay? So they're being entertained. They're getting sex. Trust me, lots of it. They are getting attention. They are getting pity, play a pity party. They are getting, resources and money from other people that feel bad for them. They are getting, smokes, booze, drugs, whatever the heck they're into. Okay, they're free nookie from the world. Okay, they're getting it all, and that supply is isolated somewhere. Okay, and probably a mess, just a mess, a paranoid mess. Okay, towards the end. So what's happening is kind of that isolation is kind of making them really kind of look into themselves, but not look into themselves in a positive direction, because all they're saying now is everybody's disappearing around them. Everybody's disappearing around them, but the narc, Hey, he's still chatting on speakerphone. He's still popping over to the neighbor's house. He's still has all these friends at work, or she still is, head of her company and having a good time. Like, they're gonna always still be doing just fine, looking just fine. Everything's gonna be still just fine for them, which is another signal, by the way, another sign. Okay, and so always they're gonna have a sob story, right? To all of these groups. Okay, so everyone, every ex is crazy, every ex is obsessed, that has no actual base in fact. So always check with the horse's mouth. Always, 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 I say. Okay, so and any old supply. And if they do start talking about exes, right? So their ex is this, their ex is that, their ex is this. Yet nothing is ever verified, okay? Like anything you actually do check, and you should always check, is like not making any sense, okay? Like they sleep around, but yet you notice they're barely even online. They do that, like check these things out, okay? And again, I use Social Catfish. It's got like a free trial where you can check out people's associates, and it's actually very, very, very good stuff, okay? But I mean, you can use whatever you want, okay? I advocate because it's given me a gold mine myself. But anyway, okay, so and that's why I always recommend just to check them out, okay? And also with coverts, isolation will begin really, really small with, oh, let's spend all this time together, this is so great, blah blah blah. But this is as they're picking at your self-esteem, and they're segregating you from others, and they're really putting you in a bubble, okay? You're going to notice you are in a bubble. Even if you're a person that likes to stay home and you don't really do much, like you're going to notice you're going to go from like visiting people and doing all kinds of things to just really like not wanting to leave, not wanting to leave the house. So it could be because that you're so beaten down and you feel so alone that's kind of how it's going to end up, okay? And it's got nothing whatsoever to do with you, whatsoever. And so at the end, eventually you're going to be always anxious. You might be jumping at your own shadow. You might be snapping at people, like not acting like yourself. It's heartbreaking, okay? So it reaches a crescendo though, okay? Because everything comes to an end, okay? No matter how long they try to carry it on. And a covert can stay hidden for decades, okay? Especially extended family and stuff that don't live with them wouldn't, like, they're just hearing their side of the story. So they don't have like a sweet clue what's really going on. They really don't, even though they should see that their patterns are them. They're a common denominator. So you'd think they would think. But anyway, so it will reach a crescendo with you, okay? And married coverts especially are found, they're going to be found in places like your DMs, okay? Sneaking into your DMs, your direct messages, as like a childhood crush or like a high school sweetheart, or with something simple and lazy, okay? Like, hey, beautiful, hey, handsome, like crap like that, okay? Which is lazy, okay? And that is not a relationship, and that is not something you can build on. And they've probably sent it to another 50 people, literally, like, when you go fishing and, there's a lot of fish there and maybe one will bite. Boom, that's kind of what they're doing, okay? But you'll never know. And so they just see who bites, and then they'll kind of see who keeps going back and forth. Oh, really? You had a crush on me since we were 5. Oh, isn't that sweet? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? And also you'll notice they're usually with people, or there's not much going on their social media. That's another kind of flag, okay? Everybody's got social media. Okay, so in a large portion of them are on dating and hookup apps. Merciful heaven, stay clear of dating apps, okay? But 90%, I'm going to say 60% are narcs, at least. Maybe 65% on dating and hookup apps, and the rest of them are kind of toxic, or they don't really want a genuine connection. They don't want like a long-term thing. They just want kind of like that shallow crap, okay? Like, intimacy, like in the first minute they meet you and crap like that. Okay, those are people like that on there. You're not gonna find quality people, okay, except for you. You're probably the only quality person, but they know that, okay? And that's why they're putting that little hook in the water, okay? And so try to meet people organically if you can, okay? Maybe join groups, participate in groups online, and then you check people out. Maybe watch for how they treat others online, things like that, before even you talk to people, okay? Just use your discernment, okay? Keep your heart open, but use your discernment, because they love it. They love it. They love it, okay? So that leads us to the good old trauma bond. Coverts are experts at this. So it's accomplished really by quite a few things, okay? So they will also kind of convince supply to move or visit them, okay? And that increases their local surplus, okay? And they're going to convince them kind of to basically come in from another province, another state, another country, okay? So they're very big on long distance hookups and on dating apps, okay? So they're going to be in a different province, a different state, a different country, right? And they're going to really also rush sex, rush intimacy, rush like touching and being together all the time. They're going to rush those things. So those are all flags to look for, okay? And some indicators here if you're maybe talking to one in an app or something, which please don't talk to people on apps, okay? Never would be like never letting you come over on a weekday evening, okay? Or never letting you come over on a weekend night, okay? Because basically that's when they're going to be with their partner. That's when they're going to be with them. They're not going to, it's, you know, or they're going to say they live with a roommate, or they're helping an ex out because, oh, they just can't get it together. And go, no, none of, or they're just sleeping on the couch. No, none of that is true, okay? Usually they're in a different town or province or country or whatever, okay, or state, if you're in the US, I guess. So you got to ask yourself, like, just really ask yourself this question, okay? Why would someone search for someone in another state or another province or another country? Unless you're like moving jobs, you want to maybe get some networking going or whatever, or, you know, your friend moved there or whatever. Like, why would you be? It just doesn't make any logical sense. If you really think about it, just pull your emotions away. Logically, there's really no need for that, okay? But the reason they're doing it is to be able to bail out, okay? Bail out on a dime. And it's also, unfortunately, to keep you hidden. I know. Keep you hidden. And it's also, so in essence, to keep all that supply apart, right? Because they want to make sure that they can like switch out their Apple IDs on the way home, or they can like, you know, they can control an app, right? They can control who reaches them, when they reach them, how they reach out to them. They can kind of, you know, control all that, right? So that's kind of what they want to do there. So they will also convince supply to move or visit them, okay, to increase that local supply, right? And once they can convince them to move there or visit them, they've kind of got them, okay? And usually they'll especially coverts will do this, and I'm specifically saying over like a long weekend, okay? They'll organize it way ahead of time, and it'll be a hotel, a motel, something skeezy. Honestly, something skeezy, okay? But they're going to make it all romantic and whatever. It's not, okay? What they're doing is they're meeting these people there because they can't bring you to their house because their wife or their husband or whoever is at their house, okay? Their partner, their long-term partner is probably at that house. They probably tortured them so badly that, you know, that main supply that's now in devalue is probably like, look, just, you got to leave me alone. Like, I can't relax. Like, their energy is gone. So they're just like happy to see the covert go for a few days. And that's when they're going to kind of test out a new main supply. They're going to like monkey branch over to. So this is how they do this. So they're going to also do things like flirt shamelessly in front of your face, okay, to get a reactive abuse out of you. And they'll try to make sure nobody's really around when they do it. And only the person they're flirting with will know, and they'll be like, what the heck? The other person, the person they're flirting with, you're going to notice kind of like looking stunned. They're going to look stunned, okay? And what they want is for that partner to freak out over it. And then all the other people are going to see this as the partner freaking out. They're not going to see the whole flirting and like being ignorant. It's rude and it's disrespectful and not called for, okay? And don't tolerate that if anyone does that to you. It's just, that's a deal breaker, okay? So they will flirt shamelessly. And this includes your relatives, their relatives, your neighbors, their neighbors, your coworkers, their coworkers. Like, they're equal opportunity pigs. Just equal opportunity. They don't care, okay? And there's more flags that you can look for, okay? So, or say if you're only talking to one online, if you're only on an app or an unregistered number, check it out, okay? Just check it out. If you only text or talk when they're like on a work break or on their way to or from work or something like that, that's also an indicator, okay? Or maybe if they're only on a break, or say if you only like pick them up at their work, or you only meet them at your place, or you're only meeting them at a hotel, or you're only meeting them on lunch hour. They're all flags, okay? They're all flags. So if you are in doubt, please check it out. I always tell people check it out, okay? And I hope that this one helped. It was a little bit of a longer explanation, but it was quite like a lot of people really interested in the answer, so I figured I'd just do a quick video on DEB Answers. And I'll see you again next time. If you could all join me, please try to join me, especially on YouTube. I don't know if everyone knows, but I was hacked by a bunch of cyber people, and a lot of things were affected. Now it's all coming back up and it's fine now. Nice try, everyone. You know who you are. But until next time, I'll see you guys again. So you guys can help me out and go onto my YouTube. Also, I'm on Threads now, which is another one I really enjoy. Quora, Instagram, Facebook. I have all of those as well. So this is Deb from Deb's Corner signing off. And just if you could follow me on those social media channels. I'm going to try to put them in the links when I can remember. I do have ADD. I'm sure you guys all know. Peace be to you all. And you keep those hearts, keep those minds open, but also use your discernment, okay? Because you deserve it. You really deserve somebody special, and you deserve people that are genuine, okay? So just really check things out. So God bless to everybody, and keep that light shining bright. Bye for now.